Alright. Welcome in, everybody. Let's give it a little bit. We are going to just wait on Dieter real quick. He has the same exact idea that I do. Left Coast Live with Stateless Patient. Is there any hope? Is the title of his fucking stream. Yeah, he's got the same idea that I do. Hey, dude, can you hear me? Oh, there we go. Yeah, I've started, but it's not a big deal. Give me a second. Um, is that better? Sweet. Yeah, it was using my webcam, microphone, whatever. Oh, there we go. Okay, much better. All right. I don't know why it does that. This can't. This freaking microphone should be the default one. I don't know why it switches it. It's freaking weird. Weird. Uh, Testing. 1, 2. Testing. 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 Yes, I should. Yeah. Okay. Cool. 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 All right. Yeah. No, you got the same exact idea that I do. Either you got the name of your stream being "Is there any hope?" It's just like, God damn. I'm feeling the exact same way.
Yeah, let me go ahead and bring in my audience here. Tell me about the goings on since today. What's the latest today?
Well, there was the big meeting with Hegseth and all
Right.
the military brass and whatnot. Um, we'll get into that as well
All right,
as.
let me bring it. Hold on, let me bring in my audience really quick.
All right, for sure.
Hello and welcome to Left Coast Live. I am your host, Dieter McBusiness, joined as always by StatPat, Stateless Patriot of the Central Valley. It is Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. We are California lefties coming to you about national politics, big and small, left and right, up and down. StatPat, what is on your mind right now? Is there any hope to be had in this country? That's what I want to know.
You know what? I'll be
There
complete.
is? There is. There's got to be. Otherwise, we're going to lose our audience.
Well, sure. Yeah, there's hope. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's definitely hope. Yeah, I mean, uh, kind of slips my mind of what kind of hope there is right now, but I'm sure it's there. You know, don't be. I mean, I'm probably not the best person to ask, but it is a worthwhile question. Maybe other people have better answers than I do because you know, um, feeling less optimistic than usual. I'm not my jovial self.
I think there's hope long term if we're
On a
allowed
lot
to have fair elections in 2026 and 2028.
on a long enough timeline, we win. Like the
Yeah.
left wins because
But it's
the
just a
only
question of like how hard and unapologetic the left, the general left, all of the, the moderates, the centrists, anybody who's anti-MAGA, anybody who's anti-Trump,
the ultimate
how hard are they going to come back at MAGA and be like, we're not going to listen to you for like 40, 50 years, maybe like ever again.
no
Why should we?
no
Why should we? If you're a conservative in today's America, that's what I want to know is like, how do you expect to be taken seriously?
No,
How
yeah.
can you possibly expect to be taken seriously after all this? Like, you gave us Trump,
The
you
past
know?
9 months have been absolutely disastrous, and
Yeah.
it's only served, like, obviously MAGA serves capitalism. Whether
Hmm.
or not they want to admit it, whether or not they even recognize it, because that's the ultimate dividing line. But everybody's so brainwashed into the left-right divide and whatnot, and not realizing that both political parties serve the interests of the capitalist class. Because, like,
Right.
no shit. But if you're MAGA, you think the Democratic Party is just a bunch of communists. So, I mean,
Which is
because
so
the
crazy.
ultimate,
It's so ignorant.
it's insane.
It's so ignorant.
The only
It just
dividing
shows that
line
they
that
just don't know. They just don't know politics. They just don't know what they're talking about.
you
They simply don't do their homework and realize that APAC, just one
mhm,
example,
yeah,
gives to both sides.
no, yeah, no,
And there's a lot of PACs that give to both sides, so
yeah,
that no matter who wins, they have influence.
yeah, no kidding. And the fact that, like, I mean, you ask, is there any hope? And it's like, on a long enough timeline, I do believe that we win, because there are more of us than there are of them. Because the ultimate dividing lines in this country, as it has been for decades upon decades in multiple different societies at this point, is the working class versus the owner class, the capitalist class, the ruling
Right.
interests.
The investing. I call them the
Yeah,
investing class.
yeah, yeah. No kidding. Because they have all the money to throw around, and they're just getting more and more and more day by day by day, while the working class just gets less and less and less. And that couldn't be more pronounced under this current regime. It couldn't be more pronounced with the actions of this administration throughout this entire year. So, like, I mean, I've always been an optimistic guy. I don't let shit get to me, but god damn, do things look so bleak.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm just kind of like trying to focus on being grateful for what I have and
Me
being like
too.
kind of relatively safe
That's been my
in
mindset
in
for a
in
minute now.
California. In California, although I just found out my local DA is a Christian nationalist.
Oh, gross.
Yep, just found out he spoke at the Charlie Kirk vigil
What
on
the
Monday
fuck?
night.
Wow.
Spoke for like an hour almost. Yeah.
Jeez. That's gross.
Yeah, the Charlie Kirk vigil at the school that I coach at
But your local one,
was
I see.
yeah, and they had this huge visual, and apparently it looked pretty packed. I saw some pictures from the back row looking at the stage and seeing all the rows in front of them full. So I was gonna go and maybe see if I saw people like that I wanted to protest or get in their face or something like that. But no, I
No, it's
decided
not
not
even worth
to.
it. Yeah, I mean, mostly it's normies that only like him in passing that would show up to something like that, because the people
Right.
who are actually, like, behind propping him up as a political figure would be the people who would prop up the next Charlie Kirk, which apparently
Right.
that's already happening. Like,
Is that
because
Braylon or whatever?
I
That guy
have
Braylon?
I have no I think that's his name. Yeah, and
I've had it woman Jennifer, I think is
she's
her
great.
name. She just covered him. I just watched that bit earlier today.
She's been on
So
a
she's
great
red
tear
hot.
lately. Yeah,
She's the yeah no
yeah,
she's red hot. She's like the newest face, and her pumps her co-host is cool. They have a good
yeah.
duo,
She just tore
but
apart.
I think Jennifer can get on like any stage. Like she does her homework. This girl does her homework.
Right, like, they actually just had on this Democrat, and they tore him apart because, like, will you commit to not taking APAC money? And he fucking, like a
Said no.
typical recipient, just weaseled his way around it, and like, she made a great point. It's like, you will lend yourself so much more credibility if you say right now that you will not take APAC money.
Right.
You will gain so much more credibility if you distance yourself from them, and refuse
Right.
to take their blood money.
They wouldn't do it.
Yeah. Weak. It's weakness.
Yeah. No, it's the definition of weakness, and um,
I-
the revelation that I've come to recently. I saw a quote. Forget who it is. It might have been anonymous, but it was very simple. It says the system's not broken. It's working exactly the way it's supposed to.
yeah. It's cliche, but it's true. Like the system's not
And
meant to work for me and you.
no,
You know, it's meant to.
no,
Like there's no.
it's capital class.
Yeah,
It's
they
called
don't.
capitalism. It's staring you in the face. It's called capitalism. What is capital? Capital is money,
Yeah,
specifically investments.
yeah.
Like when you own 200 McDonald's
Hmm.
across 15 states, right?
Yeah,
You're just reaping in the money. Like it's a
yeah. You
machine.
don't even
And
have to
over
work.
time, you don't even have to do anything
Yeah,
because
you're not working hard. You're just
no,
moving
you're not
money
adding
around.
value.
Yeah, and
You're not adding
yeah,
value.
exactly. And that's how this country has worked for a long time. It is even more clear to me now than it ever has been, because the more money that is concentrated at the top like that, the less there is down at the bottom for it to move around, for it to be a healthy economy. It's going to get like unfathomably bad
Yes.
for the rest of us the next several
It's
years.
already miserable. It's going to get even worse. It's
Yeah,
hard to imagine it getting worse, but
year
it's
by
going to
year.
get worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, of
It's
course.
going to get worse,
Yeah,
especially with the big, beautiful bill.
yes.
Oh my God.
It's
Cutting Medicaid. Like people are going to die.
no,
People already are dying.
yeah, and they don't care. Honestly,
No, they don't care.
the shutdown that's happening right now, the White House basically coming out and saying, yeah, there's no deal. We're basically headed for a government shutdown, and it's like good.
Right.
Fucking like finally Chuck Schumer actually like stuck to his guns. God, he's probably my least fucking favorite senator, and that says something. Worse than
Chuck
any of the
Schumer. Yeah.
yeah, worse than any of the fucking Republicans. Like unbelievably weak, unbelievably cowardly. Just like here, just listening to him speak like this guy's a fucking leader. Are you fucking
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah.
He granted, like sure, you should be you should have a list of demands. You should ask the Republican Party, who controls the House, controls the Senate, controls the White House, the fucking Supreme Court. You should ask them for concessions, because what's at stake? Millions of people losing their health care. The credits for the ACA, they expire at the end of the year, and that would mean that if something isn't done about it right now, which is what this fight is about, those credits expire. Millions of people lose their access to coverage, and also a lot of them lose their health care. That's going to
Yeah.
hurt small businesses who rely on those credits to give them like cheap coverage. If that expires, monthly premiums get boosted by 1 to 300%. Smaller hospitals begin to close, especially in rural areas, because it's like people can't afford their own coverage. So it's like you're going to see a lot less hospital visits, and a lot of these hospitals obviously are for profit, because that's how it fucking works in America. And they're
Mm-hmm.
going to end up they're going to end up closing. Not to mention a
Yeah.
lot of people who rely on this healthcare are going to die. They are
Yeah.
going to die. And of course, the Republican Party doesn't give a fucking shit because, oh, well, the Democrats want to give illegals healthcare coverage, and it's just like the number is probably so negligible that it's completely it's vapid. It it holds no bearing on the situation at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just because some illegal immigrants might be getting healthcare coverage,
Yes.
that means you get to strip away healthcare from millions of poorer Americans.
The American way is if I don't think someone is getting something that they shouldn't get,
Hmm.
then they shouldn't get it.
Yeah,
The whole thing
it's
is like,
gross.
is someone else getting a benefit that I think I should be getting? And then they'd rather have that benefit. And if the answer is yes, then they'd rather have the benefit completely cut.
Yeah,
People are, I've been telling you, it's the most narcissistic society
yeah.
that the world has ever seen, because unlike other dominant economies of their day, ancient Rome and the
Hmm.
British Empire and so forth, this one actually has the delusion that everyone is equal. and that people have an equal opportunity to attain the American dream, to attain financial success. And that's
No,
what's holding us back as a nation is people not just being realistic and being
Peop-
like, yeah,
you're never
I'll be lucky to have $1 million by the time I'm 50 or
sure.
60. You know, like, I mean, get real.
Yeah, it's
Get real
a
with it, guys.
nation
It's
of.
the whole American dream, man. It's like George Carlin said.
Mhm.
That's why they call it the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
Yep, yep.
And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So what's especially gross is, yeah. I mean, you basically said it all. You laid it all out there. We're a nation of temporarily embarrassed millionaires. People don't understand. Like, you're not going to strike it rich, and we're so cut to the billionaire class because they have they own their lackeys in the media who tell um conservatives who watch is basically the Republican propaganda arm, uh, that, like, we need to defend these billionaires. We need to defend the multimillionaire class because
Right.
they're the inventors. They're the ones who provide all the jobs and all this and that. Hello, Megan. Thank you for joining.
Dude, I was
We're-
on the Gen Z podcast, and the entrepreneur between the two of them, one's an entrepreneur, the other one's a stand-up comic.
Mhm.
And the entrepreneur was like, I feel for him. I feel for Elon. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Absolutely not.
I said
Like,
the needs
they
of
don't
the
feel they
many
don't feel
outweigh
for
the
you.
needs of the few, dude. Yeah, you think they give a
They don't give
flying
how
fuck about
they
you?
want you dead.
I mean, they want you
They
out of the
want to
way.
see
They
you
want to
gone.
you consolidated. They want to
Yes.
they want to buy you at some point when
Either
you're,
either you
and then
submit
make
to
you
them.
even poorer.
Yeah. Yeah, either you submit to them or they wipe you out because there's no use for you, especially with the rise of AI, the less economic mobility, which is obviously going to get worse and worse with the big beautiful bill and what the Republicans are doing, and obviously the shape of the economy and just how much worse it's gotten over these last 9 months. It's all to serve the ultra rich.
Yes.
If like if the Republicans allow these ACA credits to expire and millions of people lose their health care coverage and rural hospitals around the country begin
Close.
to close, like, what the fuck is it to them? You're a disease to them. They want you dead. They want you out of sight, out of
Maybe
mind.
it'll be,
They don't
maybe,
give a
you know,
fuck.
that's interesting. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So rural hospitals might close when the ACA credits expire.
Yeah, I mean, on top of, like,
So
Medicaid
that
cuts
would
as
be,
well. Hi, Spinel.
maybe the wake up call for
I
rural America
if
is
they
like when our fucking hospitals
No, it won't.
close.
It won't because
Well, it could
they're
be,
going to just
you know,
blame Democrats.
they'll find a way to blame the
They'll fight,
Democrats,
yeah,
right?
like what they're doing right now. Like, you got the Republicans controlling the House, you got the Republicans controlling the Senate, you got the Republicans in the White House. Obviously, it's a 6-3 conservative majority on the Supreme
Yeah.
Court. Like, if you want Democrats to vote for a continuing resolution or an actual fucking budget, explain why millions of people should lose their healthcare coverage at the end of the year. Why are you letting that shit expire? Of course, they know that their base is going to eat up their fucking propaganda because they're
Yeah.
gullible little fucks and be like, oh, do you want illegal immigrants to have healthcare? It's like the number is so negligible. It's not even a factor in this discussion. Like,
Right.
poor people are going to lose their fucking healthcare coverage because
Right.
you motherfuckers who vote for Republican all the time are fucking racist.
Right. Xenophobes.
Yeah. Yeah, like how fucking dare people who have less
They
than
don't know
you
that,
might possibly be
right,
getting
get a
healthcare
benefit.
coverage.
Right.
Like, for fuck's sake. Meanwhile, your wealth is being extracted. The food that you're getting, the farms that you're getting your food from are all shutting down. We're giving a bailout to Argentina. Like, it's
Yeah.
basically a bailout of $20 billion. Meanwhile, China, which is like our biggest soybean
Adversary. Oh
customer,
yeah. So I mean, yeah.
they're buying their soybeans from Argentina. So it's like, what fuck it, like, it's so disgusting. Like, take away health care for the poorest people in America and use whatever money is saved from that and give it to the billionaires in the form of a tax cut, or maybe a bailout for fucking Argentina, whose economy is flopping, who our apparent biggest adversary, China, is now going to for goods. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it just like make it make sense. Oh my
I
God.
mean, it makes sense if you know the Republican Party and what they've stood for since 1980.
No, of
It's just
course.
all it is just an exaggerated version of that. I saw a good video recently on Instagram that I reposted. I think you saw it from Barry Goldwater back in 1964, talking
Hmm.
about the consolidation of power and how the president, even back then, was starting to have too much power. And
Yeah,
it
I saw
was
that.
evidenced by Watergate. So he was right.
Yeah,
And it just got worse. Like that's like America is an
yeah,
insane nation because we never learn from our mistakes. We just keep making the same mistakes over and over again, and things just get more and more extreme. I mean,
yeah.
the thing that
Trump is
I'm like
really,
becoming numb to is people mischaracterizing the left. I'm just sick of
yeah,
people mislabeling the left and calling us violent and how we just hate people who disagree with them. We just call people who disagree with us Nazis. It's like no, because I disagree with a lot of moderates and centrists. So I don't call them Nazis. I just call you Nazis because I mean Trump has done, you can't really deny this. Trump has done to immigrants what Hitler did with the Jews. I mean, it's scapegoat politics. As I talk about in my essay, as we've talked about here, your life doesn't suck because you suck. Your life sucks because of those immigrants taking your jobs, taking
yeah,
your health care,
yeah,
and those transgender professors at academia and abortion and all these stupid issues that we've
yeah.
talked about for so many years. It's like abortion that was ruled on back in the 70s.
Hmm.
Okay. We had that conversation
Yeah,
as a nation and we ruled on it.
yeah, yeah. I think the
Like,
bottom fifth.
where is the concept of settled law, idiots?
Yeah, the bottom like 50% of Americans, I believe, hold like 2.6% of the wealth now, whereas the top 1%.
2.5. Yeah. Yeah. I think I told you that
Yeah,
statistic.
and now it's
Yeah.
like, and now the top 1% hold like 61 or something like that. It's
The
just like,
top 10%, the most important statistic is the top 10%. So you got
mhm,
10 people. Let's say you got 10 people, 10 cookies. All right. One person has 9.3 cookies,
mhm.
and the remaining 9 people have zero point 0.7
Oh
of a
my,
cookie
right? Yeah, that's based.
to deal with.
Yeah,
That's the top 10%. So what I'm just saying there
but
is the
it's the
top
immigrants that are the
10% of U.S.
problem.
household, the top 10% of U.S. households that own publicly traded stock own 93% of publicly traded stock.
Yeah, and the average CEO nowadays makes 300 times more than the average worker does,
Right.
whereas back in the 50s and 60s
Like
it was only like 20 or 30 times more.
I think it was
It's
more
like,
than that, but yeah, I think it was like 40 or 50 at
yeah,
certain spots.
the farther back you go, the smaller the number gets. But these are like the only numbers that fucking matter when it comes
Right.
down to it, because like it the I think the only goal of the left should be to wake up as many people to these facts as possible, and these
Right.
numbers, and just how lopsided the economy is. Like, is it's not working for us. The two political parties that we have, the two major political parties, are not working for us. They're working for the capitalist class. They're working for the owner class, who are extracting as much wealth from us as possible, leaving us high and dry, leaving us to die, leaving us with less and less and less year after year, disappearing rights, disappearing privileges, less access to fucking healthcare. They're trying to privatize Social Security. They're even I think they're delaying the CPI uh, numbers, which are what Social Security heavily
Bases on,
relies
yeah.
on.
Right.
Yeah, so that way people who receive Social Security, that the number that they get, like for any given month, any given year.
It's adjusted, right?
Yes, exactly. Because they know that the economy is cooked and it's just going to get worse. Inflation is going back up. We're cutting interest rates, and yet mortgages are still going up for whatever reason. It's a whole fucking mess right now. It's insane, and they're trying desperately for as long as they can to cover up the reality of just how fucked it is. But when it comes down to it, when it does all boil over, or however much of it does boil over, they'll just blame Democrats, even though they have
Yeah.
fucking nothing, little to nothing to do with it, because
They
obviously
have
it's
no
a
power.
Republicans have
Own
the
everything.
House, and House controls
See,
the
and that's what
purse.
I worry about is like, can the Democrats at least make sure the blame falls on the Republicans when things start to break down on a personal level for the American public?
At the very
Because,
least,
like we've talked about, like people don't care until it affects them directly. Well, based on the things that we're talking about, it's about to get real for a lot of Americans. A lot of
yeah,
Americans are about to feel this,
yeah,
if they haven't already with inflation. Um, I mean, everything's more expensive. It's absurd how expensive everything is.
and that's supposed to get
And
even worse
it's
as well. Like
right.
the energy prices, especially in
They
the
are.
United States, are about to get absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
You
Somebody said in 10 years, your energy bill is going to be
more than your
more than
rent.
your rent. Yeah.
Fucking absolutely insane.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's absurd.
So I guess we can go ahead and get into this NSPM-7 thing.
Yeah. What is this?
So it is it's basically a national security directive, and I mean, speaking of which, Hegseth had his whole spectacle in Quantico. Is that what it is?
Hmm.
And
Virginia.
yeah, all the generals showed up just to basically deadpan, stare him down, stare Trump down, expressionless, and it was awkward and fucking just bizarre. And what's really bizarre is like the fact that like he was speaking to them, and you can really make the case that like pretty much every single general in there, everyone in that audience for his speech, they're all more qualified to be in his position than he is. Um,
Yes.
but this, he's the gist of the speech was he wants to sick the military, focus direct the focus of the military on Americans, enemies domestic, and this seems to be the line that the administration is going with right now, cracking down on, I guess, domestic enemies and whatnot. And NSPM-7 is the seventh directive of the Trump administration so far. And Ken Klippenstein kind of broke it down here, and he says he shares an image here saying. The Trump administration isn't only targeting organizations or groups, but even individuals and quote unquote entities whom NSPM-7 says can be identified by any of the following uh, indicators of
Organized political violence. Yeah. They're going to go
yeah,
after anybody that protests Trump
anything. Like
anything is just going to get just
the
killed.
well, these are the bullet points: anti-Americanism, anti-capitalism, anti-Christianity, support for the overthrow of the United States government, extremism on migration, extremism on race, extremism on gender, hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on family, hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on religion, and hostility towards those who hold traditional American views on morality. I think we account for like maybe nine or 10 of those,
Hmm.
and
You and I.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it, Megan. Yeah, yeah. So we would basically count. Yeah,
Yeah. We would be a target. Yeah.
of course.
They
Yeah,
go after a lot of our friends too.
yeah, and they keep it purposefully vague so that way, as big of an umbrella can be like, they want to cover as many people as possible. Like this is going to be used to attack basically anybody that they want. They have an
Yeah.
excuse now. It's a national security directive signed by Trump. It's different than an executive order. This means that basically like all intelligence agencies, all like the entire federal government will then start redirecting their resources and their focus on anybody who fits this criteria. So, and Ro Khanna commented on it, one of the better members of the House, saying Trump's NSPM-7 represses freedom of speech and association, investigating any organization with quote unquote anti-capitalism or anti-American views.
They're gonna go after the DSA. They're gonna go after
Yep,
Mamdani for sure.
no, like it, they can under these guidelines. Rokan also says I ran a primary in 2003 against the Patriot Act and war in Iraq. NSPM-7 is a greater infringement on freedoms than the Patriot Act. I didn't know that he's been around that long. Honestly, like 22 years. It's crazy. It's absolutely grotesque. More on it right here. Basically something I tweeted out. It's not an EO. It's a national security directive. If you've ever uttered anything remotely anti-government or anti-Trump, it makes you a target of the American intelligence agencies. This will be used far and wide against as many people as possible. Yes, holding traditional American views, like anybody who's hostile against that.
So much of course, for small government conservatives.
Yeah.
So much for small government, you motherfuckers.
Not
now
to
you've
mention,
got a police state. This is the police state. That's what this is.
Yeah. I mean, not to mention, it's like the thing about this especially is how vaguely it's written, and it's done like that on purpose.
Intentionally. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They can point to anybody for anything for any reason and chalk up their behavior to being an enemy of the state or being a terrorist.
Mhm.
Why do you think Antifa is being designated as a terrorist organization, despite the fact that they're not an organization? You know, it's like, oh yeah, show me your Antifa membership card, or show what do tell FBI what makes an Antifa uniform. You know, it's absolutely fucking insane.
Hey, John F. McDropout. Yep, it is. We are doing okay, man, but it's scary.
It's a fucking terrifying time.
Did you see the Stephen Miller quote?
Stephen Miller quote?
Yeah. Hold on, let me find it. He said, there is an entire system of feeder organizations that provide money, resources, weapons. And they're attacking ICE officers. They're attacking federal buildings. Whether isolating public officials for harassment, doxing, intimidation, and ultimately attempted assassination. It is all carefully planned, executed, and thought through. It is terrorism on our soil.
Absolutely bullshit. Like he's just completely fucking making that up.
He's just making this up. They're acting as if like there's a war going on.
Yeah, like you go and people are poking fun of it, like because they want to send the National Guard to Portland, and just people literally walking by the ICE facility, nobody there, you know, just taking the piss out of the whole thing. Like, oh wow, like it's so crazy here. Somebody got my order wrong at the local coffee shop. I can't believe the gall of this city. It's like there's nothing actually fucking happening. But like I said,
so do you know what the text of the directives actually says? It's right here.
I'm actually looking for it right now. You want to pull
so it here it is. Screen? Ready? Yeah. The directive, the specific reads. Here's the text. Mm-hmm. There are common recurrent motivations and indicia uniting this pattern of violent and terroristic activities under the umbrella of self-described anti-fascism. These movements portray foundational American principles, for example, support for law enforcement and border control, as fascist to justify and encourage acts of violent revolution. This anti-fascist lie has become the organizing rallying cry used by domestic terrorists to wage a violent assault against democratic institutions, constitutional rights, and fundamental American liberties.
Yeah.
Not mentioning one organization. They just sound bitter that we're calling them fascists.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, honestly,
They're
that's
just they're
probably
just
all it
pissed
comes
off
down
that they're
to.
getting called what they are.
Yeah,
They're
it's like
finally getting called white trash fascists.
yeah, it's like
Oh,
Stephen Miller
better be
being like,
careful.
yeah, Stephen Miller being retweeting Gavin Newsom's press office calling Stephen Miller a fascist, and he's like, why would they tweet out something like this? And then the press office replies like, because you're a fascist.
Right.
Like fucking like for one, speech is not violent.
No.
I've never bought into that thing. Like rhetoric, it's just words. Like name calling, that's
Well,
not
I mean, if
inherently
you
like a
get up in
violent thing.
some, if you're 6'5" and you get up in someone who's 5'7", if they're in their face and tell them you're going to beat the shit out of them,
Like
that's not freedom of speech. That's
no, sure.
abusive. That's
Well,
intimidation. That's a threat.
that's
That's a
threat.
threat of
Yeah,
physical violence, right?
but name calling is not a threat. Like
No,
I
you call
wouldn't
someone a
make that.
pussy.
Yeah, I wouldn't make that argument. But yeah, it's fucking fascism. That's really all it comes down to, honestly. Just total control, dictatorial control over the intelligence agencies, redirecting the resources to go after fucking leftist political violence when like that's not even like it's so uncommon that excuse me that I think um non-politically motivated violence, like apolitical violence, is even more than like when it comes to like mass shootings and shit like that. Rates even higher than left-wing influence violence, but still
Right.
right-wing violence is still like top of the heap by far when it comes
Well,
to
since
motivation.
1975, for the last 50 years, there was here I took it on. It was on Morning Joe this morning. So the statistic is that since 1975, there have been 65 left wing acts of terrorism.
Hmm.
Since 1975, okay, lefty it was 65,
Hmm.
right wing
It's like 400 something.
391.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
391 divided by 65 is about 6. So for every one act of lefty terrorism for the last 50 years, there has been 6.
Hmm.
6.
Yeah, there was
So shut up.
the guy
Seriously.
that just shot up and burned that Mormon church um
Yeah.
in Michigan.
MAGA. He's got a MAGA sign in his
Yeah,
yard.
on his truck. And he was
There
wearing
you
a
go.
Trump shirt, and apparently his motivations for committing that act of terrorism was Mormons being a bit more accepting towards the LGBTQ.
Right.
Yeah,
That's funny.
yeah,
And he was a
like
MAGA guy.
yeah. It's like, oh,
Weird.
that's pretty funny. I mean, we hear a whole hell of a lot of anti-LGBTQ rhetoric on the right
Yeah.
broadly, and so it's like obviously like maybe it's time to start redirecting our attention towards this kind of rhetoric, this kind of violent language and whatnot. All these people spouting this anti-LGBTQ bullshit, fucking influencing guys like this. Why isn't the CIA? Why isn't the FBI go after people like that? Obviously, I'm taking the piss out of it. Obviously, I'm being like, fucking abolish the Patriot Act for God's sake. For
Yeah. No
God's
shit.
sake, dude. Um, you want to end off on, I guess, Kamala Harris's recent interview?
Yeah, sure. Do
Yeah,
you want me to bring it up?
yeah. I believe she had,
It was on Rachel Maddow.
yeah, like a pretty lengthy one, but I think it's worth going over because it reveals a lot. She talks a lot about her book, and also
Oh wait, hold on. Can we get into
what you got?
Hold on. We got to watch this.
What
We
you
got to
got?
watch
What
this.
you got?
This
What
is
you
a
got?
live stream. We can go live with these people.
What is this?
Nice. Hold on. It's the California Underground,
Okay.
and it's the they're conservative Californians.
throughout the
What are they covering right now? Oh, I see. Revoking numbers
and then you'll
rising
have
in
to wait for the
California.
show every Tuesday for any of the videos that come out between then or Instagram or stuff like that. So that would be the point of it. But
Here, let me troll them.
with that said, obviously with a short
17
runway
watching right now.
for Prop 50, there was going to be a lot of money spent on these ads. We knew there was going to be a lot of money. Charles Munger.
Yes, on 50.
I'm always
Yes, on
flabbergasted at how
50.
much money people
There
like
you go.
Mungers have, because he just like
Take
no problem like cuts a $10 million
the fight
check for Prop 50. Like
to
he just
MAGA.
drops money like it's crazy. Like people are dropping money left and right. It's like I said, I think the total's over 50 million.
They're not
going to
respond.
go,
She's
like,
had a
even higher
really
by
bad
the time we get
facelift.
to November. I could.
It's horrible.
At this
Like
point, I
it's
imagine it's going
that's
to be like $100
so
million
awful.
in money spent on this Prop
Anyway.
50 campaign.
All right,
between
yeah, we're out of
before
here.
And the
These guys are just such losers.
She should get her money back for that. Honestly, poor thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I guess Kamala Harris went on Rachel Maddow, and it's kind of worse than I can even really express. We could put on like 1.5 speed just to
Okay, hold on.
blow
Do
through
you
it.
want me to
But
do it? Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah,
let's
let
do
me
it.
get
Yeah.
All right, stand by. Just riff for a second.
Hey, no worries. All right. Let me actually put a banner across the screen because I got at least a few people in here. Subscribe to
God, it's
us,
an hour long, dude.
please.
I don't want to do this whole thing, but
we don't.
we'll see.
Yeah,
1.5.
probably go for another like 40, 50 minutes, I guess.
Okay, it's fine.
Yeah. Thank you for joining. Follow us. We're on Blue Sky. I'm on Twitter, and we're also on Instagram. Let's go.
Vice President Kamala Harris here tonight for her first news interview since leaving office, her first news interview since the election.
It's actually
Very
kind of
excited to
crazy
speak with
that
her. A
it's
little
been
nervous
this
about this interview. It's a
fucking
big deal, I'll
long.
tell you. I do have one thing to tell you, though, separate and apart from that, before we get started. MSNBC has just today announced that my new documentary is going to be airing here on Friday, October 17th. This is a brand new documentary I've made. It's called Andrew Young, The Dirty Work. We're going to have a special Rachel Maddow show here on MSNBC that night at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's Friday, October 17th. And in response that she used in her rallies, she would say, "When we fight, we win."
But you
Why
didn't
didn't we
fight.
fight?
"When we fight," and everybody
Yeah, where was the fight?
We win. And of course,
You're
what
doing
everybody knows now very
events
much
with
about
Liz
is that
Cheney.
She did not win the election. And her new book is about that. The new book is called
It's
107
actually kind of
Days. Comes out
crazy.
tomorrow.
The
It is
good.
story-
The
How-
book's
how
title is
bad-
one big excuse.
Yeah.
The book's
and her new
title
book
is one excuse.
about
It
that.
is.
The new book is called 107 Days. Comes out
107
tomorrow.
days. Oh, I only had 107
There was
days.
apparently like a lot of
Aw.
infighting, a lot of bickering back and forth between
Yes.
her and Biden's team because they
No,
didn't
dude.
believe in her, and like it's like no shit.
Yes.
But also it's
Yeah.
like they were also like loyalists to Biden when it's like
And why did Biden
her in the first
endorse
place?
her? Yeah, why did Biden endorse her right away instead
Mm-hmm.
of saying we'll sort this out at the convention
yeah.
or we'll sort this out prior to that?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was talking about this process. There was this really for all the political junkies, we were all so pumped for an open convention. That would have been historic.
It would have been
People would have
amazing.
loved it. People would have loved it.
But they're all fucking
And
pussies.
instead, Biden picked him. Biden just picked her.
It's crazy, like how obsessed Democrats are with like proceduralism to a fault, except
Right.
when, except for like very, very certain niche instances.
No, when
it's
it's
protect
the hard
egos.
times.
Yeah.
Dude, the Democrats are all talk. When the rubber meets the road, they're gonna bail.
Yeah, they're not.
They're gonna bail.
They're not very.
They're not
democratic at all.
tough. They're the opposite of tough. They're soft.
Exactly.
It is the story of her 107-day long campaign for the presidency, the shortest presidential campaign in modern history. She describes in the book on page 1 how she learned from President Biden that he would end his campaign and hand the reins to her. She learned that news less than half an hour before the whole rest of the world learned it as well. She writes about how everybody in Democratic politics responded when she made all her first phone calls to tell everybody the news, to ask them for their support. She took notes from those calls. She says, "You are going to be a fantastic president."
Yeah.
Mark Kelly, the senator from Arizona, Vice President Harris writes, quote, "He tweeted his endorsement even before I reached him." So far,
Whatever.
splendid, which means it is not all nice. And so we also get Vice President Harris's notes on the other responses she got. Gretchen Whitmer, "I believe you will win, but I need to let the dust settle. Talk to my colleagues before I make a public statement." President Obama says in part, quote, "Michelle and I are supportive, but not going to put a finger on the scale right now. Let Joe have his moment. Think through timing." Nancy Pelosi says in part,
Smart.
it's important that there's a process. We have a great bench. We should have some kind of primary, not an anointment.
There you go,
Fucking
Nancy.
like,
Sanders says
yeah.
in part, quote, please focus on the working class, not just on abortion.
He's right. I
I'm the
mean,
convention host. I can't commit. And then
uh,
Gavin Newsom.
Hi
She writes,
King will call back. He never
And then she
did.
puts in parentheses, he never did.
Ah, that
Yeah, because
sounds
he was
so much
pissed.
like, yeah.
In 107
Yeah.
days,
Yeah,
you get
because he was pissed because he was like, oh man, if she wins, then I'm not going to get to be president.
Yeah.
And
That's
now he's going to get to be president. I mean, it's going to be Newsom if everything goes the right way.
maybe, unless they rig it.
Unless
which
Pritzker steps up and somehow gets it.
I hope he grows a spine. I hope he does step up. I do prefer Pritzker over Newsom by far.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Harris's thoughts on picking her vice president, interviewing Mark Kelly and Josh Shapiro, and then ultimately choosing Tim Walz and all the great things that were great about Tim Walz, how much in particular she loved Tim Walz's wife, Gwen. And she also writes about why
Didn't like
Pete
Josh
Buttigieg was
Shapiro
her
because
personal
of
first
how
choice
tied to
for Gwen.
Israel he
You
was
get
and
her
how
detailed
bad of
thoughts
a
on
look
how
that
President Biden's
was.
age showed when he was tired, and her view
Didn't
that the
pick
White
Pete
House
Buttigieg.
basically
Well,
mismanaged
we'll
that.
get into it here. She'll
She
get
says
to, she'll
President
get
Biden
into
was
it.
not incapacitated. He was absolutely capable of governing, and he was in fact very good at it throughout the entirety of his term. But she also writes that he
We all
was
saw
not
the
up to the
debates.
task of campaigning well
Give me a
for
break.
another term. And she writes about her regret and her frustrations for how that was handled by the president's senior staff.
All
I'll
right,
tell you,
all
this
right.
book is going to sell a bazillion copies.
No, it won't.
And Vice President Harris's bluntness and
God.
quickness, yes, but also in places like Central Washington State.
Oh yeah, the
And those
Kimmel
protests were in
suspension.
New York and in
Like,
Los
get
Angeles,
on with
yes, but
it.
also in places like Central Washington State. LU, and every celebrity
Yeah, we
rich owners
talked
of the LA,
about that already.
those guardrails would be stronger. I was wrong. But now, of course, the election is
All things considered.
Here we go. Okay.
Kamala Harris, Madam Vice President. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
It's good to see you.
It's good to be here.
It's weird to talk about you with you sitting here and me pretending you're not here.
Oh, it was awkward for me too. It's okay.
How have you been?
That's
I
actually
am
kind of
well.
funny.
Yeah, all things considered,
Yeah.
I am well.
How have you been taking care of yourself since the election?
You know, I have an incredible family. I've been spending more
Ugh.
time with them than I had for quite some time, cooking, and writing, and reflecting, and talking to a lot of people, making a lot of calls, receiving a lot of calls. So I've been busy.
Let me talk to you about this capitulation
right.
thing. This really landed with me. I feel like we're all in the middle of it, but you articulating it in the way that
Well,
you
you've
do.
been
you
writing
become
a
the patron
book.
saint of,
What is she
this
talking about? I've been busy. Yeah, you've been busy writing the book. Now it's time for you to cash in, right? Who's your
Yeah.
agency again? CAA, the same ones that reps Biden.
Yeah.
You've been busy writing the book and cooking. Yeah,
Sure.
But you
Yeah.
haven't been on TV. You haven't been speaking up against Trump.
Yeah.
That really
Yeah.
landed with me. I feel
Exactly.
like we're all in the middle of it, but you articulating it in the way that you do, you've become the patron saint of "I told you so." In terms of people understanding the sort of warnings and predictions that you made about what Trump would
Give
be
me
like.
a break.
But you say, I predicted all of that. I warned of it. What I didn't predict was the capitulation. The billionaires lining up to grovel, the big media companies, universities, so many major law firms, I will note, including your husband.
Yeah, and he spoke out about
He's
it.
been very
Yeah.
vocal in criticizing it. He said they've all been bending to blackmail and outrageous demands.
Yeah.
Why did you not predict the capitulation? And what do you make of the effort to try to put some steel in the spine of those institutions?
So as you know, I am a lifelong public servant, and but I've worked closely with the private sector over many years, and I always believed that if push came to shove,
This.
those titans of industry would be guardrails for our democracy, for the importance of sustaining democratic institutions. And one by one, they have been silent.
Let's hear that again,
They-
guys.
and
Yeah.
for the
This is
importance of
disgusting. This
sustaining-
is stupid.
would be guardrails.
Here we go. Listen to
that
this
if-
very carefully. Listen to it very carefully. The titans of industry would be guardrails to protect our democracy. Listen to this.
Push came to shove, those titans of industry would be guardrails for our democracy, for the importance of sustaining democratic institutions. And one by one, they have been silent. They have been, yes, I use the word feckless.
This is the most hilariously
You fucking
fucking
idiot.
naive
I
thing
love the honesty,
have
though. You gotta
ever
love
heard.
the honesty.
No,
you thought,
yeah.
You thought the titans of industry would be guardrails against. What are you talking about? They're just trying to survive for the next 4 years or get as much money out of it as possibly can.
Yeah.
Through flattery
You
of,
think-
of Trump.
You think
that
they
works.
you think they give half a flying motherfuck about democracy if it
No, they don't give a
means
shit
that
about
subverting it would fucking
Give
give
them a better bottom
yeah,
line. Yeah.
exactly. Like
No.
it just
Yeah,
goes
this is
like it
ridiculous.
goes to show like
What a
she-
horrible start.
She's talking about it like she's talking about like oh well like I thought this like she's coming up for just such a naive perspective. Like that's not how fucking capitalism works. Like
No.
it is literally incompatible with democracy. By definition, if your bottom line is profit, if your bottom line is endless growth forever, cashing out, expanding, especially if you're multinational, what the fuck do you give a like? What do you care about the United States
Right.
election?
You just move your company.
Yeah, exactly. Or
Yeah.
or fucking like just lobby for the government to pass policies that benefit you.
Yeah.
It goes to show that she doesn't know anything about history. Since when, throughout history, have the titans of industry stood up for any democracy, any democratic values, anywhere? God
It's not like
damn.
they're going to lose their yacht or their house in the Hamptons. This is the word feckless. They have been silent. They have been, yes, I use the word feckless.
Ooh.
It's not like they're going to lose their yacht or their house in the Hamptons. And here's the thing. Democracy sustains capitalism.
No, it
Capitalism
fucking
thrives in
no,
democracy.
no, the
And right now we
actual
are
fucking
dealing
does
with,
not.
As I called him at my speech
Hold
on
on.
the ellipse, a tyrant.
Hold on, I gotta pause it. Hold on.
Sure.
We used to compare.
Go ahead.
Like
Democracy sustains capitalism. She is totally turning her cards over. This is a great window into the heart and soul of the DNC right here, and the way that they think,
God.
and the way that they think, the way that they have just sold out to capitalism. Capitalism was supposed to be regulated, you fucking idiots. What's happening now shouldn't have happened for another 20 or 30 years. But thanks to Reagan, and thanks to Clinton, and thanks to W, and now thanks to Trump 2 times, it's all happening much sooner than we would have expected it to.
Yeah, we're entering.
But
late
the end
stage
result,
capitalism.
the destination was always the same. Because of the simple fact that once you have money in a capitalist system, any capitalist system, it's a hell of a lot easier to make money.
Yeah.
Once you have money, it's a lot easier to make money. There's that cliche in corporate America. Your toughest million is your first million.
Mm-hmm.
Same idea.
Yes.
Right? It plays to the giants. It's not YouTube. Look at YouTube. It's a great example. The people with the most subscribers are going to show up on your feed when you search for progressive YouTubers.
Yeah.
Is that fair? I don't know. Is it?
It's insane. Like that is
it's just the way it works.
That is one of the dumbest things anybody has ever said. Democracy.
I don't know if I can do this whole thing if this is how she's going to be. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know either.
Sustains capitalism.
This is the unbelievable.
And here's the thing. Democracy sustains capitalism. Capitalism thrives in a democracy. No. And right now we are dealing with, as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now, Donald Trump. And these
communist
titans of industry.
No, a dictator. That's what she meant. She meant dictator.
And perhaps it is because his threats and the way he has used the weight of the federal government to take out vengeance on his critics is something that they fear. And I get that. I understand why they do. We've seen the demonstration of it. Perhaps it is because they want to please him and nominate him for a Nobel Prize. Perhaps it's because they want a merger approved or they want to avoid an investigation. But at some point, they've got to stand up for the sake of the people who rely on all of these institutions.
But what if I will make billions more dollars?
And to at some point be the guardrails against a tyrant. The people who rely on all of these institutions to have integrity and to at some point be the guardrails against a tyrant who's using the federal government to execute his whim and fancy because of a fragile ego.
I know that your parents took you to protests in a stroller when you were a little kid, before you were literally able to be there to walk in that. You talked about the civil rights movement and its moral legacy being part of your moral core.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of the
wasn't MLK a
defenses that
socialist?
you tried to build up in advance of this type of a sort of would-be authoritarian takeover were about warning people about how serious the threat was and warning people about what this could mean and what we were in danger of. Now that we're up against it, though, I'm not sure that we have great skills to actually not warn about it, but fight it. And if the problem is the system collapsing and the guardrails, as you say, collapsing, and people who have power, who ought to be titans, not acting in any sort of
and standing together, because there is safety in numbers, as the saying goes.
Yes. I wonder if the American people who are repulsed by what Trump is doing and who are in public opinion polling very much against what he's doing, as you note in the book, are going to be turning their ire and their protest movement and their organizational capacity against these institutions that are failing as much as they are against Donald Trump himself and the administration, if that's the way the sort of resistance is headed.
So, one, back to how you opened the show. I mean, talk about the power being with the people and the people making that clear with their checkbooks as it relates to the suspension of Jimmy Kimmel. We saw the power of the people over the last few days.
So it wasn't just
and
that,
it spoke
though.
volumes, and it moved.
It wasn't just that. It wasn't just people canceling the Disney Plus subscriptions. It was the fact that they had lost Disney had lost $4 billion in stock value. It was the fact that they were being largely boycotted by several, like we're talking like maybe dozens of A-list, B-list actors and celebrities if they didn't reverse course on unsuspending, if they didn't reverse course on the whole Kimmel thing. People stepping up with their pocketbook and whatnot, like canceling the subscription, yeah, it played a role, but Disney and ABC and whatnot, they need that business with those big name celebrities and whatnot more than they do the subscriptions, if that makes sense. And so that was basically the excuse that they needed to stand up against Trump, because they realized like it's going to hurt us more if we don't stand up against the FCC and Donald Trump and, bring Kimmel back, because we need this business. We need to keep the gravy train rolling. And if that's being threatened because we're not standing up against this blatant, like overuse of power and violation of the First Amendment, this threat by the FCC, that it would have been all bad.
A decision in the right direction. I think that part of where we are now in terms of thinking about what the fight is, it requires us, yes, to understand that we've got this administration and this president in front of us abusing the power that the people vested him with. But we also need to understand that this is bigger than Donald Trump. Part of what I write about, this stuff is decades in the making, Rachel. It didn't just happen overnight. So much of what has indeed overwhelmed people, not to mention just scared the stuff out of people.
I really hate how she considers herself just to be this larger than life figure that's just so much bigger and grander and bolder than she actually fucking is.
All right. So you want the fucking truth of it. She was a DEI hire.
I mean,
she
yeah.
was.
Yes.
She was picked by Biden simply because she was a woman. I don't think her being a woman of color mattered so much. Maybe you could call that gravy, but it had to be a woman. It had to be a woman. It was going to be a woman.
Right.
There were a lot of other women that were vying for it. Gretchen Whitmer and who's the one from Minnesota?
Tammy Duckworth?
No, the one from Minnesota, but she didn't get it because of George Floyd.
I forget.
She ran for president. She's a senator from Minnesota. She's super cheesy.
Megan says he said that he was picking a black woman. So yeah, it was either going to be.
Are you sure?
I think if I remember correctly, it was either going to be Tammy Duckworth,
the one from Georgia, or the one from
yes, Stacey Abrams, or Kamala Harris. I'll never forget Stacey Abrams' reaction when she went on TV because Biden was everybody was waiting to see who Biden was going to pick, and they both went at the same time, Stacey Abrams and Joe Biden, and you can just see her smile vanish into a frown when as the discussion went along that Joe Biden was going on there with her at the same time to pick her to be the vice president. It's a classic clip at this point, but I guess it was just to give her praise and thank her for her help and when it comes to certain shit. But yeah, it did come down to him wanting to pick a black woman.
Yeah, and that just ruins it for everybody. I hate when people do that.
No, yeah,
it's just so now we're you're picking them simply because they're women of color. Oh, okay.
Because the Democrats
it takes away from the earning it. He should say, "I'm going to pick whoever I want."
Yeah,
and you'll find out. And you'll find out when I say so.
Yeah,
and then come up with a woman of color if it's that important to you.
Yeah, that would have been boss as fuck. Shit.
Yeah, tell the media to shut up, and I'll tell you when it's done.
Exactly.
Take control.
Yeah,
Be a fucking leader.
but back then it was just so much worse than it is even right now, because it's just like the onslaught of anti-wokeism, anti-DI and shit that is just nonstop from the right wing. But back then, uh, identity politics was the name of the game when it came to the Democrats. It's how they primarily
Well, I ran
function.
into that myself. I ran into that firsthand.
Yeah.
The irony, and the people who don't know what the hell they're talking about, is identity politics lives within the neoliberal establishment. It does not live on the progressive left. I went to the DSA convention this summer. It's the most diverse place I've ever been.
Mhm.
I was surrounded by people who are completely different from me. I was like the token straight white guy.
Yeah.
You know,
No, right. Yeah. Yeah.
and that's fine. Like, it was fun. And
Yeah.
I didn't mind being like the token straight white guy. I mean, there are a lot of straight white guys,
Sure.
there, but you
Right,
know, the straight white guy that grew up like loving competition.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Like, not a lot of DSA members love competition the way I do.
Sure.
And, you know, diversity is a great thing if it's done correctly.
Yeah.
And her
using
hire as vice president was not done correctly. You know why? You know why I can say that? Because Biden was always on the verge of death. Okay. He always looked horrible. He looked particularly horrible in that debate a year and 15 months ago, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's still like necessary to pick someone. And I guess that's probably why they went with Kamala, because she was a woman of color, and of the people that we mentioned, she was probably the most qualified to be president.
Yeah.
She probably was, having been a senator
Sure.
and been a DA. Like, she was probably, of the women we talked about, the most qualified to be president.
But it was the
But it
problem
really shouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
It should have been someone that unquestionably could have run the country if Biden died.
Yeah.
And it should have been someone who was ready to run in 2024.
Yeah. No,
Like,
exactly.
how could they not have someone right? And Kamala's a miserable campaigner, as we saw.
Awful.
She has never been good. She got worked in
Mhm.
the primaries. She didn't have a voting base. This is what drives me nuts about this interview. Like you're kind of alluding to, is she's acting as if she's a player. She's acting as if she's the shit. And like, we should like listen to her and she has accomplished something. No, woman, it was handed to you. You didn't even earn it by getting a big fan base.
Yeah.
You know, most people in those positions, they're bringing millions of fans with them when they join the ticket.
Yeah.
You didn't have millions of fans. We saw that because in the primary, you couldn't even make it to the first primary.
Yeah. Yeah. And like the Biden administration really shot themselves in the foot by purposefully limiting their field of options,
right,
as a successor to Biden in the first place. You know, and we can go on for days and days about fucking the mistakes that they made and whatnot, but this whole interview, because I've seen little clips of it, little pieces of it here and there, reminds me of just how horrible of a pick she is, how horrible of a campaign she ran, and just how horrible of a figure in politics she is to begin with.
Yes, she's bad. And it's not because she's a bad person. It's because she's incompetent. This is the thing. I have no doubt that she is legitimately doing the best that she can. But there's another factor here which people don't like to talk about, which is that she's cute, and she was pretty cute back in the day.
She's got a charm to her that actually plays well.
No, but I'm talking about like physically attractive women have a really hard time admitting they're wrong and coming to terms with no one caring about what they have to say.
Oh, I see exactly. I see.
And she thinks people care. She thinks
right.
this is going to be a bestseller. People aren't going to give a shit about this book.
No.
You kidding me? People are trying to save money they can spend on fucking eggs.
It is a high velocity event. Yeah. We are witnessing something that has been happening so rapidly, and it feels chaotic. But what I would offer you is what we are witnessing is the swift implementation of a plan that was decades in the making. Decades in the making. Project 2025 didn't just drop out of thin air.
45 years, to be honest.
Decades of work. Federalist Society.
Since
Heritage
when, though?
Foundation.
Be specific.
Understand that the implementation of a plan that's about trying to get rid of the Department of Education, deregulate industries, weaken the rule of law by over a period of time, creating a system.
It's all spelled out. 900
gerrymandering
pages.
states so that we would now have the Supreme Court that we have. This stuff didn't happen overnight, and it did not happen just because of an election in 2024 or even 2016. So when we talk about where the fight,
Even if it wasn't like
there
hold
is
on.
an
always
aspect of it that is about the immediate moment, such as the weight of the federal government being used to silence critics, citizens. And it must be about understanding that this did not just happen overnight, and we have to pay attention to an agenda that is not going to necessarily go away when this guy is finally turned out of office.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you on that gerrymandering front. The White House has been very aggressive, pushing Republican-led states to gerrymander
like,
their maps to effectively.
This plan, like, it wasn't always named Project 2025, but all the components are that they've been in the works.
Plus, you don't even need a Project 2025
No.
to know where the GOP has been heading for the last 45 years.
Yeah. No, exactly.
All you have to do is do your damn homework. All you have to do is study American history since 1945, and like you understand America pretty well. If you really know your history from 1945 to the present, and really, if you want to understand what's wrong with the country, just study 1980 to the present day.
Yeah,
That's the real capitulation. She talks about capitulation. It's been the story of Democrats capitulating to Republicans over that period of time.
Not to mention the money and where the money has gone, the Republicans, and where that money has come from, and what those people stand for. Those think tanks, those major money players, what do they want? What kind of future for America are they pushing for? And it's all laid out in Project 2025. But like those ideas, these plans and whatnot, they're all on the same page. They're
right.
like all these people,
So
they're all on the same page. Yeah,
so
like
predictable.
It's been a thing that's been advocated for decades now, and now it's all like a whole conglomeration of all these ideas in one package being implemented under Donald Trump.
Republicans a major edge heading into the midterms next year. That has led to related responsive Democratic efforts, including in your home state of California. Do you support Democrats' effort to kind of fight fire with fire there? Will you be involved in that California measure, for example?
I absolutely support it. You mentioned Gavin earlier. By the way, Gavin has a great sense of humor, so he's going to be fine. But
did you warn him about the hiking thing? You did.
Yeah, I've known Gavin forever. He literally has a great sense of humor. But let me say about what he is doing with redistricting. It is absolutely the right way to go. Part of what we've got to, I think, challenge ourselves to accept is that we tend to play by the rules. But I think this is a moment where you got to fight fire with fire. And so what Gavin is doing.
The motto is whatever hurts the GOP helps America.
Bingo.
That's the motto for the next 40 years. Vote blue no matter who. That's that's an order.
Yeah.
That's like just do it. Like it worked for Nike. It's not going to work for you in politics. You don't tell people what to do.
Yeah.
You speak truth, and that should motivate a certain behavior. The truth that we should speak for the next 40 to 50 years.
The outcome
is whatever hurts the GOP helps America.
Right.
Because the GOP is an institution of evil.
Yeah, it's the same outcome, but the framing is different. Like the meaning, it takes on a deeper meaning, because like you can hate the Democrats all you want, and boy fucking howdy do we hate the Democrats, but it really is about just how much more harmful the GOP is, despite the fact that they're both parties that are beholden to the capitalist class.
What the California legislature is doing, what those who are supporting it are doing, to say, you know what, you want to play? Then let's get in the field, let's get in the arena, and let's do this. And I support that.
Speaking of a sense of humor, your book is very funny, which I think helps a lot, given that there's a lot of difficult material. Yeah. I'm going to read something where I have to bleep myself in the middle of reading it out loud, sort of. This is the part when Trump told an audience, National Association of Black Journalists, told them that you happen to turn black and that you now wanted to be known as black. You say, on the plane that day when I first heard about Trump's remarks, he patched in Brian Fallon, your senior advisor, communications advisor, on a call to strategize a response. Brian wanted me to punch back with a big speech about my racial identity, like the one Obama had given. I was so pissed that I didn't hold back. Are you effing kidding me? I was not about to take Trump's bait. He lies all the time, I told Brian. He throws out outrageous statements to distract from the real issues. Quote, today he wants me to prove my race. What next? He'll say I'm not a woman and I need to show my vagina? I don't even know why you say that. Brian, on the other end of the phone, fell silent. I imagined the deep crimson of his blush. All right, so first of all, you made me say it.
I really have.
How do you decide I mean, in the moment, particularly when it's so ridiculous, it's funny. How do you decide when to not take the bait and stay off the terms that he's trying to set for the debate, and when to punch back? What did you learn about that in the process of going up against?
So, I also talk about, the first 2 weeks that I was the top of the ticket, we had no polling. The no polling had been done on me. So it was my gut.
Yeah.
And so I came up with this speech that actually was about, I was a prosecutor. I dealt with people who engaged in sexual abuse. I was attorney general. I took on people who engaged in fraud, on and on and on. And so I know his type.
I remember this line, yeah.
And because there's something about in the English language that phrase, I know his type, that does a lot of work for you, because it's something we all relate to, whether it was that boss, it was that person, whatever.
That's a female empowerment thing.
Which is fine.
It's
fine.
It's fine.
It works.
It's fine, but like, don't fall in love with it.
Yeah, and also it's like I totally see the perspective of like not wanting to take his bait and just respond directly, because it's like you got to keep in mind, like, even though Kamala Harris ran a poor campaign, I would argue Donald Trump ran an even worse campaign than she did, because they were scrambling. They were pissed that she replaced Biden, because they had
Right.
worked up for so long to
Biden,
run
I
against
know.
Biden, and they didn't know how to handle it. So I mean, she could have done worse when it came to this particular thing that she's speaking about here.
Yeah, no, I think this is one of the better calls. It's just be careful with the like female condescension thing.
I know
Sure,
his type. And so
I think
the
they
character
got carried
that
away
I
with
knew
that
I
at
was
one
running
point.
against is someone,
Yeah, a little
because
bit.
he's shown it also. I mean, he did it with President Obama. He did it with Secretary Clinton. He throws this stuff out that he thinks will be an individual's weakness or Achilles heel, with the intent to distract from the fact that, as it was in this campaign, he had no plan for actually bringing down costs and prices for the American people. He had very few plans for what he would actually do that was about the American
I
people
have
and not about the
concepts of a
execution
plan.
of his vengeance on his enemies. And I wasn't about to fall for that bait. And the stakes were too high. The stakes were too high. You can't get in the gutter with that guy, because that is the way that he distracts from the fact that, for example, right now, he promised the people who voted for him that on day one he'd bring down prices. And I do believe, Rachel, that's one of the main reasons that the people who voted for him elected him, because they believed he would do it. He lied. We're now in a position where unemployment is up, inflation is up, the cost of groceries is up. So, as the folks used to say, don't fall for the okie doke. Just don't.
All right, lots more to ask you. We'll be right back with Vice President Kamala Harris, President most upset thus far, which is some of your writing about the decision around the president abandoning his reelection campaign, the timing there, and how it's handled. You say in part, page 46, it's Joe and Jill's decision. We all said that like a mantra, as if we'd all been hypnotized. Was it grace or was it recklessness? In retrospect, I think it was recklessness.
Yes.
The stakes were simply too high. This wasn't a choice that should have been left to an individual's ego,
Exactly.
an individual's ambition. It should have been
Yeah.
more than a personal
Yeah, it's a
decision.
team decision.
Whose
Yeah.
decision should that have been? How should that decision have been made?
So when I write this, it's because I realize that I have and had a certain responsibility that I should have followed through on.
Yeah, good for you.
Which is, and so when I talk about the recklessness, as much as anything, I'm talking about myself. There was so much, as we know, at stake.
And there's the proof that she was a DEI hire. And I don't mean that in a derogatory term. This is one of those like unfortunate cases where like she actually was kind of a good choice to replace Biden, right? Like if there had been an organic process by which she was selected, I think she could have been a good choice. And she had, but this is proof that Biden's team didn't pick her in 2020 because she was talented.
Right.
They didn't pick, they have no confidence in her.
They even admitted
they
so.
picked her because she was a woman of color and she filled a quota and it was historic and yada, yada, yada.
I think they even like directly responded to because there were like little teasers and little excerpts from the book that were released ahead of time,
Right.
that kind of took shots at them, and they basically came out and were like, "Oh yeah, Kamala Harris isn't talented. You know, she this is a petty high school drama, squabbles and this and that and whatever." And it's just like, I'm in that kind of instance, like you're not rooting for one side or the other because they're both awful. Yeah, like Biden's team and Kamala Harris in general. But it is true. Like she was not really the Biden team did not have any faith in her, which was what made the whole fucking 2024 Democratic primary, which it wasn't even a fucking primary, such a fucking clusterfuck to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I don't
as
think I
I
can do this
write,
whole
you know,
thing.
where
Yeah,
my head
probably
was at the
couldn't.
time is that it would come off as being completely self-serving.
If you said to President Biden
Right.
If
that
I-
you did not think he should run again.
Yeah, or even that he should.
Yeah,
question
no, it
whether
should
it's
have
a good
been.
idea.
It should have been either Kamala's chief of staff. Well, it should have actually been Biden's chief of staff
Mhm.
saying, like, sorry, Joe, your time's up, man. And
Yeah.
if you don't drop out, then I'm resigning.
Yeah.
Like that, you should have put it. The chief of staff should have put it to him, but
But
Mhm.
I think that, you know, one of the reasons I wrote this book, Rachel, is there are actually a number of reasons. One that it is unprecedented, right? To your point of what you said in your opening, we had a president of the United States running for re-election, 3.5 months from the election, decides not to run. The sitting vice president enters the race against a former president of the United States who's been running for 10 years with 107 days to go. And it ended up being the closest presidential election in the 21st century. And there was so much about those 107 days that, for me, and this is really a behind the scenes look at those 107 days, was about seeing people who seemingly had nothing in common coming together by the thousands with a level of optimism and, dare I say, joy about the possibilities for America. And I hope to remind people about that light that people brought to it, and to remind people that light is still there. And we can't let that be extinguished by an election or the individual who's in the office right now. Because to the point of all those folks who got out and protest about the Kimmel suspension.
And about everything else that people are
That's right.
This
In
what
a
this is
variety
what
of ways,
pisses
whether
me
it be
off.
going-
Like she has no idea what the stakes are right now. Like she doesn't have a full scope on how bad things are under Trump, how much eroding of institutions have been happening under him, the corruption. Every single week, it's multiple Watergates. It's out in the open, but because it's Trump, it's just become so fucking normalized. And the Democrats have no message. They're the least popular they've ever been. So it's like
Fix your mic.
like
There you go.
so it's like, spare me all this shit about, well, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's in office, and there's still a light that lights us and guides us. And it's just like we're in the middle of we're on the brink of fucking civil war, lady.
Right.
Like
to a protest or being with their pocketbook or getting engaged in local and state and federal elections, they'll make a difference, and they've made a difference. And I guess the last point is that we've got to really remember that this person who's in the White House promised a whole lot of people who supported him and voted for him that he would do one thing, which is bring down costs and prices. And he lied to them. And we need to remember that as we move forward with the next series of elections, and midterms are around the corner, that it's not just about him by himself. There were others around him who perpetuated that same promise and have not followed through. They're about to go into negotiations around the continuing resolution, the budget. And I know that leaders Schumer and Jeffries are going to meet with the president, I think in the Oval Office. And good for them to go there and ask Donald Trump, the president of the United States, to justify why he is proposing to cut Medicaid, why he is willing to shut down the government for the sake of putting on the backs of working people the tax cut he gave to the richest people in America.
Do you think that Democrats should vote to allow the government to shut down in order to try to extract concessions from Trump on these matters?
It won't be the Democrats who are shutting it down. It will be the Republicans. The Democrats are doing the job that any elected leader should do, which is to say, we're not going to do the bidding of the president of the United States at the sacrifice of our constituents' health care.
And that's the fairest fucking point to make.
Yeah.
In the book, something that you called a secret project that you ran as vice president, that you called the STARS Project, identifying up and coming talent in the Democratic Party. You'd meet with them, ask them about their interests. You say that more than one of them said they felt like they were being called to the principal's office when you asked them to come in. But the folks who you met with in this way include some of the people you see very frequently now on MSNBC: Jasmine Crockett, Angela Also Brooks, Maxwell Frost, Robert Garcia Moore. Arguably the fastest rising star right now in Democratic politics is Zoran Mamdani. Who is going to be elected mayor of New York City, and probably in a landslide if the polls are anything to go by. Lots of mainline Democrats have been very shy about his candidacy. They seem somewhat flummoxed.
Let's see what
by his
she says to this. This is the best.
As a sort of talent spotter in the Democratic Party, what do you think of him and his candidacy, and what do you think of mainline Democratic shyness and agitation about the prospect that he's going to win?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, he's the Democratic nominee and he should be supported.
Do you endorse his candidacy?
I support the Democrat in the race. Sure. But let me say this.
Fucking.
He's not the only star. I know that, he's in New York, and I know New Yorkers think they're the center of the world. And here we are in New York.
You
having
kidding
this
me?
interview.
It is the biggest city in the
And I
country.
love New York, as the saying goes. I really do. But I mean, there are people like Barbara Drummond in Mobile, Alabama, Helena Moreno in New Orleans. They're all running for mayor too, and they are
Okay,
stars.
so
I hope that we don't.
check this out. This is a huge reason why I fucking hate her so much. The people that she just fucking named, one of them lost her race. The other one, and keep in mind these are both women. The other one is a daughter of a fucking billionaire oil tycoon. Oh,
Who's
yeah.
the name?
I don't know.
Pickens? It's not Pickens, is it?
No, I don't think so. The two people that she just named, one lost, and one is the daughter.
Helena Moreno in New Orleans.
Helena Moreno.
Mhm.
They're all running too. But I mean, there are people like Barbara Drummond in Mobile,
She
Alabama.
lost.
Helena Moreno in New Orleans. They're all running for mayor too. And
She's
they
the
are
daughter of an oil tycoon. Fucking know this. She wanted to get away from the Mamdani question as quick as
Yes.
possible. She
Yes.
she refused to endorse him. Like
No,
I
said, yes, sure.
I
said
support
And the
I
Democratic
support
Party.
the Democratic candidate.
Agitation about the prospect that do you endorse his candidacy?
I support the Democrat in the race. Sure. But let me
So
just
she endorsed. That's her endorsement, but it's not a good endorsement.
Yeah,
I mean, her endorsement should be taking 30 seconds, looking into the camera, and say, "We New Yorkers would be lucky
Mhm.
to have Zoran Mamdani as their mayor."
Yeah.
So don't screw it up, New York, because you got a good thing going on right now. Like, if
It's
we
ideological thing.
Kamala, where's the charm? Right? It's like she thinks that like she doesn't have to put any work in.
Uh-huh.
She thinks she can just show up, and
Right.
like her presence is enough.
Yeah, no, of course. Like you should be grateful that I'm even mentioning you. It's just
Right.
like but she would have said the exact same thing if it was Andrew Cuomo who ended up fucking winning. Like I support the Democrats. It's like fucking. It's not an ideological
Well-
thing to her, or even a personal thing, because it's like, how the fuck can you support that fucking monster? But also, she understands like my donors, my backers, my financial backers don't want me openly endorsing and saying I endorse Zoran Mamdani.
All right, we're gonna call it quits soon, guys, but we'll find it at the next good stopping point.
he's not the only star. I know that, he's in New York, and I know New Yorkers think they're the center of the world. And here we are in New York having this interview.
It is the biggest city in the country.
I love New York, as the saying goes. I really do. But I mean, there are people
It's
like
the
Barbara
biggest
Drummond in
example.
Mobile, Alabama, Helena Moreno in New Orleans. They're all running for mayor too, and they are stars. So I hope that we don't so over-index on New York City that we lose sight of the stars throughout our country who are right now running for mayor and many other offices, governor, and so on. So
all
that's
Democratic
where I am.
races
We got a
matter.
big tent, and we got a lot of stars.
2026 is shaping up.
That's where I am. We got a big tent, and we got a lot of stars.
Oh, really? You got a lot of stars?
Yeah.
No one's heard of those two women that you just mentioned.
Literally. Yeah.
No one has heard of them.
And for good reason.
And one of them's a daughter of an oil tycoon.
Yeah,
Stat back
they're
reminder.
not even progressives.
Yeah, they're not even
that's the
progressives.
thing.
No, because she's establishment. She doesn't like Zoran. She doesn't think
No,
that she doesn't think, for better or worse, Kamala Harris does not think that Zoran Mamdani should be the paradigm for future Democratic Party politics.
Of course not.
Even though all of the data, say what you will about the politics themselves, all of the professional political analysis related to polling suggests that the Zoran way is the best way right now. That is an objective, reasoned, data-driven consensus opinion among people who know American politics and who have been studying American politics for decades, like Stat Pat and I.
Bingo.
Is shaping up to be an election that is going to be filled with Democratic primaries, though. A lot of mainline Democrats in their 70s and 80s are going to be facing challengers in their 30s. Do you think Democrats are at all justified in their frustration with there being so many older Democrats in elected office? Do you think it is time for the oldest Democrats in elected office to be thinking kind of wholesale as a category about the need to retire? And
Time. It's been time.
I wouldn't overgeneralize on that, meaning that there are some Democrats who are, older in age, but very young in terms of how they are
Oh,
thinking
fuck
and very
that.
bold
Oh
in
my
terms of how they're thinking. I think that every one of the candidates is going to be judged based on whether they
Gross.
actually have a plan, whether they see the people, whether they're listening to them, whether they offer something that feels dynamic and bold, especially at this moment, whether they have the
Get
fight in
the
them
olds
to
out
fight
of
what
the
we know to be
way.
wrong, but also the fight to fight for.
Who's going to make for a better fighter, Kamala?
God damn.
A dinosaur of a politician or fresh, young, and sexy? Like, give me a break.
Like,
Or something. I think that's how they're going to be judged. I don't know that the voters are going to judge strictly on somebody's age.
Yes, they
Yeah.
will,
Oh
because
my
there's
God.
so much
That-
resentment for baby boomers.
you fucking like, are you
People
kidding?
hate
You're
the rest.
please-
If the only people who don't hate baby boomers are baby boomers or silent generation.
How
That's
could
it.
How could she
Everybody
sit
who's
there-
not a baby boomer hates the fucking boomers. Even the conservatives. Even conservatives hate the baby boomers.
How could she sit there and say that with a straight face when her campaign was literally because fucking Joe Biden is old and out
Yes.
was out of it.
Exactly.
People
There you go.
like
That's
like
a
there
way
are
better
there are
point.
polls.
That's even a better point. Yep.
Yeah, there are polls conducted, multiple polls. They're saying that like Biden shouldn't run for re-election because of his fucking goddamn age, Kamala. Like, how can you sit there and say that?
Some say
oh,
she's
we
not that
should-"
bright.
Yeah,
She's
no,
not
fucking
that bright.
Stupid.
She's not bright.
Like,
I met someone recently whose like opinion about California politicians I really respected, very elevated. And maybe
Mhm.
it's something to do with her being on camera, where I think Kamala's good, maybe like she might be a little George W. Bush-esque, where
Mm,
George W. Bush, everybody who met him in person thought that he was like really charming and bright and sharp.
yeah,
And then you would get on camera and he'd be a bumbling, stumbling idiot.
sure.
Now, this obviously
Yeah.
isn't that bad, but I'm wondering if she's just like being real here with this answer. I don't think she is. I don't think
I don't
she
know.
is.
Fight for something. I think
I
that's how
can't
they're,
even
especially
tell.
at this moment, very bold in terms of how they're thinking. I think that every one of the candidates is going to be judged based on whether they actually have a plan, whether they see the people, whether they're listening to them, whether they offer something that feels dynamic and bold, especially at this moment, whether they have the fight in them to fight what we know to be wrong, but also the fight to fight for something. I think that's how they're going to be judged. I don't know that the voters are going to judge strictly on somebody's age.
I have much more to ask you.
Okay.
about my son.
God.
Listen to how much respect she has for the American voter.
Yeah,
I mean, has she, like,
very little.
you know, I mean, how, well, no. Well, that's that. No, she has too much.
Oh, really?
She thinks that age isn't going to matter. Are you kidding me? The poster is incredibly important. Dude, Zoran's a great looking guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Zoran's very photogenic. And then you back that up with the skills and the communication talent,
Mm-hmm.
and you got yourself a great candidate.
And he's not.
And that's like it's kind of insulting to Zoran
Yeah.
for Kamala to compare him to those other no names.
Yes.
It kind of takes away from his ethos, don't you think? His public ethos.
No. I mean, like it's more so her not wanting to commit to, I guess,
To Zoran.
embracing him, like
Right.
just in general. But also like it, like giving the voters her wanting to give the voters a lot more credit and whatnot. It's more so like, oh God, I had a good point and I lost it.
It's okay. I was just pointing out that she thinks that age isn't a huge criteria.
Yeah.
And it absolutely is.
No, of
And-
course. Yeah.
And talk about getting, millennials and Gen Zers to show up. They would probably
Mhm.
show up for one of their own, a hell of a lot more likely to show up for one of their own.
Yeah. Okay.
but
Mom Donnie, that was the thing.
Yeah.
Like he, like obviously, like I've said multiple times before, he is so good at what he does, and like I think, like we said, everybody should learn from him. Like anybody who's running in a Democratic primary, don't listen to the fucking strategists. Don't listen to the people that are in Kamala Harris's ear. Don't take her fucking advice. Go to him. Like he was asked straight up. I think it was local news. Because obviously Eric Adams recently dropped out of the New York race, which means a lot more of his votes are going to be going towards Cuomo rather than Mamdani. I don't think it's going to end up mattering. But Mom Donnie was asked like straight up, "Could you say one good thing about Eric Adams?" And he's like, "Well, I like that Eric Adams was able to call Andrew Cuomo a snake and a weasel and something along those lines." Just like, yes, that's the way to do it. Like fucking be a little be
fuck them.
yeah, be a
No,
little
yeah.
fucking underhanded in your insults
Okay,
and whatnot.
So I can coach. This is how I would coach people struggling with how to interact with the media
Mm-hmm.
and understanding how to like really frame things for them. You are not on their time.
Mm-hmm.
They are on your time.
Yes.
You don't like a question? Tell them I'm not answering that.
Yeah.
They keep asking it. You ask it again, I'm going to leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to talk about this. You don't want to talk about that? You want to talk about something I said back in high school? Well, yeah, I said that. Can we get back to stuff that actually matters?
Mm-hmm.
Because more often than not, the journalist doing the reporting or asking the questions, those are all market-driven questions. Those are all there to preserve capitalism.
Yeah.
As we know it. And that's why it was interesting. But I mean, this is the thing. If you're politically savvy, and I really hope people are watching this, I know, because if you're politically savvy and you take what Kamala said at the beginning of that interview, where she says democracy and capitalism support each other, and then she takes her support of Mamdani, and his whole point is that no, capitalism is there to eat the poor.
Yes.
And it's like, it's just a testament to how much more talented, how much more intelligent Mamdani is
by far. Yeah.
And it's why I will always be unapologetically biased towards political figures with backgrounds from the I-95 corridor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think people from the I-95 corridor, Boston, New York, Philly, Baltimore, DC, and you can keep going down into Virginia a little bit. But I just think from that part of the country, we understand rhetorical conflict better than anyone else in the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not, remember, the motto of my show, you don't get change in America by asking nicely. That is straight out of the culture of the I-95 corridor, and why I'm thrilled to see Zoran Mamdani evolve that culture.
Yeah, without a doubt. Like out here in California, people are all about like being. It's Hollywood. It's camera. It's lights, camera, action. It's being the star. It's being the center of attention and whatnot. It's being the sole focus. And it's like that's the culture out here. And we're so pampered. We're away from like the majority of the country, which is all up there in the Northeast. And so it really checks out that like Kamala Harris is like a lot more about making it about herself and not very talented when it comes to like being on camera in general, because it's like you've said before, you got to work the media or else the media works you.
Gonna work you, yeah.
And Mamdani, like there's enough people power behind him to where he doesn't have to worry about not going on, not being invited back on shows or whatnot.
Yeah.
If he's,
well, I think it's embarrassing that Morning Joe hasn't had him on yet. I think it's pathetic.
Yeah, because there's this ethos
that
when it
Morning
comes
Joe
to
hasn't had him yet.
Yeah, when it comes to like the Democratic Party and whatnot, that and the media as well, like the big networks like MSNBC or CNN, where you can't like ask too difficult questions and whatnot, or else the politicians won't come back on your show. It's like a lot of these politicians are camera whores. So it's like, yeah, be a little bit more aggressive, be a little bit more prodding in your questions, ask difficult questions. Fucking don't hold them up on a pedestal. Don't play patty cakes with them. Don't stroke their egos and shit. And it also works both ways. It's like politicians should also hold the media accountable for the way that they're covering certain things.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
Mamdani is really good at that.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Agreed.
And it's good to see you.
Of course.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're already subscribed. Thank you very much for coming on. I think over half of my audience is not subscribed though. So please, if you're watching this and not subscribed, please help me out. I'd like to get to 1,000 by the end of the year, but it's looking less and less likely now that I've only got 3 months left to work with.
Right.
But Stat Pat, and you take us out and I'll wrap us up.
For sure. I'll be going to Aftershock this weekend. I'll be rocking out as much as I can.
Nice.
Be going up there Thursday and staying till Sunday, and then I don't know about October in general. I'm so jaded by politics. I kind of want to stay away from it for as long as possible, but we'll see. I
know,
suppose.
right? We got to suck it up, though. We got to keep doing it. It's our obligation. It's our civic obligation to get this shit on record because we called this, dude. Like, go back and look at my essays, you all, when Stat Pat and I first met. Like, it's like we've been right about everything. The right-wing magic trick, my 3rd episode, that's the scapegoat politics is just an evolved version of that intellectual property, of that intellectual premise that the art of magic is distraction, right? And that's what they're doing.
Yes.
They're using the xenophobia. They're using the racism. They're using the,
Hey, you're taking away our healthcare. Look over there, illegals. They're getting healthcare.
Exactly. There it is. The distraction tactics.
Look shiny.
It's the distraction tactics. For anyway, please, if you haven't already, take a look at my essays because they're very serendipitous. And until next time, for Stat Pat, Stateless Patriot, I am Dieter McBusiness, American Wasp, reminding you that you don't get changed in America by asking nicely.
Thank you all for joining.
Stay safe out there if you are a lefty. Stay very safe.
Yes.
And thank you guys for joining us. Please don't forget to subscribe.
See you guys.